Hi guys, so in relation to two possible dates being used in terms of the Gregorian and the Julian, I just want to take a quick step back because obviously we had April the 1st, which was also April the 14th, so April Fool's Day, and the day that Donald Trump struck Syria, if you're using the Julian and Gregorian calendar. In that respect, when it gets to April the 14th, April the 13th on the Julian calendar, it will be April the 27th on the Gregorian calendar, which is the day that North Korea and South Korea are to hold a summit between Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un, the first such meeting of two Korean leaders for a very, very long time. I suspect they may be announcing an official end to the Korean War and also a possible indication of unification. That would tie in with the iPad Goat video where the girl runs out. She has the tiger on the back, which is the symbol of Korea, both North and South. There's a no nuclear sign on the face, the love heart on the face, which is, kind of like a reference to love connecting together, and no nuclear is exactly what North Korea is saying now. They're not going to do any nuclear missiles, no nuclear tests. They want to denuclearize. They want to unify. All of that could possibly, have connections with April the 27th and the announcements that come out after that. So look out for any announcements of unification. That will give us an indication that things are moving forward in the way that we think they are. Now, in relation to April the 18th, on the Julian calendar, that falls on May 1st on the Gregorian calendar, and as I point out, May 1st is in respect to Mayday. However, May 1st will fall twice, just like April the 13th or 14th will fall twice, or April the 1st will fall twice in terms of Julian calendar and Gregorian calendar. May 1st on the Julian calendar would be May 14th on the Gregorian calendar, and May 14th is Israel's Independence Day, which they celebrated on April the 18th, but it's actually on May the 14th. Don't ask me why. It's also a possible date for a meeting between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, and it's also a possible time where the move of the US Embassy could take place from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So May the 1st on the Julian calendar, Mayday, is the same day as May the 14th on the Gregorian calendar. Israel's Independence Day, possible Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un meeting, and the possible move of the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. A lot of things happening coming up to that particular time period, but using the two calendars, you kind of get two significant dates. So April the 1st on the Julian calendar, April the 14th on the Gregorian calendar. April the 1st, April Fool's Day, April the 14th, Syria gets struck. 9/11 event, chemical, false flag, chemical attack kind of thing. So two dates corresponding with each other using two different calendars. And in reference to May 1st, Mayday, it was pointed out by another subscriber, I can't remember which one, please accept my apologies, but we had the recent emergency landing of this plane where the engine blew up and it knocked out one of the windows. Don't ask me how one of the windows got knocked out. In all of these plane crashes that I've heard about, I've never heard of a single window being knocked out. They're supposed to be extra tough, resist very high pressure, and things like shrapnel coming out of the engine. But reports coming from passengers on board said they heard two explosions. One obviously being the engine, the second one supposedly the shrapnel hitting the window. However, you can draw your own conclusions there. Could possibly be, another staged event where the window was blown out purposely. So I have no idea if that's true, but one of the things coming up in this report, standing out just in the editor's note, 777 biblical symbolic reference and 33 Masonic symbolic reference. So the flight itself is suspect. Iran is warning Israel that it is prepared to wipe out Zionists in the event of war with Israel. And this is as the escalations with tensions continue over the Syrian strikes that have been taking place over the last couple of weeks. This obviously comes after Israel published photos of Iranian bases in Syria, followed by Iran's Army Day, where they showed new missiles and technology. And then Iran is warning Israel that their bases are within reach, kind of as a retaliatory response to Israel publishing the photos of their bases in Syria. Keep an eye out for this. Obviously, we've got two regions where tensions are pretty high. In one region, it's lessened, and that's on the Korean Peninsula. But coming up to April the 27th, when North and South Korea meet, that will possibly bring out the unification message, which then moves us into May time, where we could then see something escalate in the Middle East, whether that's May 1st on the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar. I'm not sure. The significance of May 1st on the Julian calendar being May 14th on the Gregorian calendar is pretty significant, just for the two direct references to Mayday, 9/11, mission accomplished, and Osama bin Laden getting shot, and May 14th, Israel Independence Day. I've, as I said, been through all that. And the last report I wanted to bring to you is just clarification, or more of a assertion coming from Russia, that it has plenty of evidence that Britain staged the Syrian chemical attack. And the only reason I bring this report to you is because it just reinforces the theory that if the OPCW do come up with a finding that there's no chemical weapon evidence, then that would, push the theory of Britain and the USA being struck, considering Britain and the USA were involved in the first 9/11 event, where we went and attacked Iraq with no evidence of weapons of mass destruction, and this year we went and attacked Syria with no evidence of chemical attacks taking place. Even though before they went and struck Syria, they said that we have evidence, but at least the public was never shown that evidence. It was never explained. France said they had evidence, Britain said they had evidence, the USA said they had evidence. There is no evidence. So in the next couple of I would suspect, reports are saying that the OPCW has just been allowed to get into the area now, so I would suspect that we would possibly hear something maybe in the next week or two coming out of there. We'll see. Again, the only reason I'm making this video is generally to point out the fact that the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar both seem to have significant things taking place on the dates that we've mentioned, and May the 1st on the Julian calendar, which is actually May the 14th on the Gregorian calendar, does seem to link to two dates that have very significant things pointed to them, or pointing to them. So that's the end of my video. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.